All right, so our guest today is all too familiar with the concept of in sickness and in health. She unfortunately lost her husband to colon cancer and is joining us to share her story, which she calls the greatest love story ever told.
I'm
so
hooked.
welcome, Amanda Evans-Clark.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're
so
happy
good
to have you.
So March is National Colon Cancer Awareness Month, so it's very timely for you to be here and help us to learn more about it. But tell us about Joe, the husband that you lost, and how was his diagnosis found, and tell us a little bit about him.
Joe was diagnosed with cancer 2 days before his 28th birthday and 2 months
so
before our
young.
wedding. So we kind of, I always called it, we went through extreme marital boot camp. It included being in the hospital. A lot of those bridal showers, things were put on hold. Our honeymoon was put on hold. Instead, we went into chemotherapy. I call it the greatest love story ever told because I feel like love is kind of taken for granted a lot until you really know that you can lose it. And here we were 28, we're so in love, we're planning our big wedding, our big life, and suddenly you realize that that can all go away. And we were really forced to love as hard as we could in our 3 short years of marriage. And so in that way, I do feel lucky. I feel really lucky that
Absolutely.
I
So
was
the opposite of the story we just told.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Closer.
And you have a choice. I mean, and it's hard. I mean, we would fight, and I would say, you know, if cancer doesn't kill you, I know. And then it was just the truth.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it is really, really hard.
Yeah.
But in the end, we grew so close, and I felt so lucky to be able to be with him until it was really his last breath. And who gets to say that? So in some ways, look at it as a blessing.
Yeah. So you're here because you want to raise awareness of colon cancer. It's the 3rd most common cancer, but yet it's very preventable. So tell us your message about colon cancer awareness.
It is, and I actually have kind of an interesting twist on this.
Okay.
I am all for early screening. I am all for testing. I am all for that. But I often was told throughout our journey, what do I do? Tell me what to do.
Yeah.
There's something you can do today to help someone who has cancer. There's something you can do to help their family. It's the entire family that goes through this.
is.
Yeah.
And I really feel very passionate about helping the caregivers. And while we don't have a cure for cancer today, and that can feel really big, really scary, you can go to someone's house today and bring them dinner. You can go to their house.
Amen, sister.
And you can cut their grass. You can offer to pick up their kid from school. You probably have leftover gift cards sitting at your house right now that you didn't use from Christmas.
Yeah.
You can mail them and help them, because when you're going through that, it is financially and emotionally draining.
And that takes some of the pressure off, because I think a lot of times it's, well, I don't know anything about cancer, I don't know how to handle this, what to do. But that makes it very easy.
Right.
I can help care for the people I care about.
Yeah. And think about, I mean, you have a young daughter. How
I
old
do.
is your daughter?
She is 14 months.
14 months.
Oh,
Okay.
look at
So, you know, that's the thing. Oh, look at her with daddy. Oh, that's so precious. So that's the thing too, is that when you know someone who's going through cancer, think about the whole family, not just the spouse or the caregiver, but also, you know, the children. And can I babysit for you for free? Can I, you know, there's so many things. You know, I was sharing with you that I lost I'm 2 years ahead of you in the journey, sister. So, and it does get better, I promise.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to make both of us cry, but it is. I mean, I'm so glad that your message is out there for the caregiver too, because we have a lot of cancer prevention messages, and that's important. But let's think about what we can do for everybody.
And what about your blog? It's called Cocktails and Chemo. Very catchy there.
Thank you.
But I mean, what are you hoping to do through the blog? What's the message there?
You know, Joe and I started writing when he was first diagnosed, because it just felt, I'm a former journalist, and I kept seeing the story there. I thought, how is this happening? Is this a movie? Who wrote this? I wished it wasn't our story, but I knew that it needed to be told.
Yeah.
And I kept feeling like people need to know what this is really like for people, what's really happening in chemo rooms, what really happens to the family.
Yeah.
And I just love going back now and reading the things Joe wrote, because he just talked about thanking me. He talked about how scared he was. He talked about his fears for the future.
Yeah.
And then I talked about my perspective as the caregiver, as someone who's 30 years old and facing a whole new life. So in that way, we've been really kind of opened up to this new group of people from across the country that are writing to us and saying, thank you. I'm in your shoes. No one had said that to me.
There's a foundation, and we want to make sure we get that out there. How can people help? I mean, what is the foundation?
It's all on our website, the Cocktails and Chemo Foundation, and my husband just passed away. So we're still really in the early phases. There are days where this feels incredibly overwhelming, like what am I doing? I feel happy I just kind of got out of bed and got my daughter breakfast.
Yeah.
Then there's days where I start to talk about this and I feel like there is a future, and while Joe is not here, I am, and I have to live for him, and I have to show our daughter, you cannot be victim to your circumstance. We have to get up, we have to keep going, and we have to help everybody else, or what was the point?
Yep.
Love it.
Absolutely. Ah, you're going to make me cry for sure.
Well, if you start, then I'm gone. So.
All right, so absolutely, you can visit her website at cocktailsandchemo.com. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thanks.